Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to be playing Spirit Blossom Mastery and I'll be facing off against the Sett adventure from the Titans of Runeterra campaign. Just like I figured, they went ahead and brought it back in a permanent format. My guess is they're going to do the same with the Spirit Blossom one in a couple of months perhaps. But for the meantime we have a new campaign to entertain us. And we've got to start in the weaker adventures first. We needed to beat this adventure with a Spirit Blossom champion, and since the Spirit Blossom Mastery is the Spirit Blossom champion that I have the least on, I have 3 stars, and then I have the Epic Relic slot for the Secret Technique, which I figured would be decent. And that's about it. I thought, yeah, this will probably prove to be a decent enough challenge. Hopefully I'm correct. All of the Spirit Blossom champions are quite fun. I actually do enjoy Spirit Blossom Mastery. The thing is because of the way things dropped in that adventure, I ended up not starting him up that much. At least when compared with the other Spirit Blossom champions. It's such a shame the way the economy worked in the previous event. It's definitely the low point because I actually did like all of the champions they released in terms of gameplay. But that's in the past. Let's focus on this adventure for now. I figured memory game would be decent enough here because of the practice makes perfect spell, which incentivizes us to play multiple copies of it, which is incredibly easy when you get an additional one per turn. Let's do this here, just so I can attack with both units. Next turn we're going to get a practice makes perfect, so we're fine in terms of being able to block whatever the opponent throws at us. Okay, I didn't expect Blade Dance, but I should have. It's fine, I can just practice makes perfect and take the 2. I did take the Star Child staff on the mastery because these higher cost champions really benefit from having effects that proc whether or not they're on board. I figured I would lose a fair amount of health in this adventure. Let's do Petals of Fate, sure. Even all I elusive this round while summoning a random champion of my cost. I can do this into this and completely fill up my board. Let's block like so. I probably shouldn't be as concerned as I am with my health, because I do have a lot of regeneration because of the Star Shell stuff. But I still feel like playing in a way that preserves as much health as possible. We're almost at the point where we can drop down the mastery. In the meantime, we definitely want to play as many practice makes perfect. This way Mastery will summon a full board of incredibly powerful units. Actually, if we drop down Mastery now, we level him up. Was this a fleeting copy of the Practice Makes Perfect? I'm not certain. Yeah, I'm going to play the Mastery anyway. It's going to kill the opponent if he doesn't have an answer. Yeah, Memory Game was definitely the correct choice. Just look at how many casts of Practice Makes Perfect we got. Enough to fill a full board. Perhaps this will be a bit easier than I anticipated. We'll see. Aisho, Jack the Winner, Godwillow Seedling. If only I could play Aisho earlier, I would take him, but as is, it's definitely a pass. I suppose we'll take the Celestial Wonder, just because it's a spell, and spells are decent in this deck. But we would have preferred something that targeted my own units. Some buffs. Tristana, Poro King, Hecarim. Am I really going to run out of rerolls here? I suppose I can go for the Poro King. It's not the worst thing in the world. And Poros are decent with buffs. So hopefully we can make this setup work. It's going to be a struggle to level up the Poro King though. I'll find a way. Yeah, let's skip the Spirit Blossom Mastery and the Fallen Student, I guess. While the Trust Neadnery is some nice amount of stats, I would prefer the extra spells from the Fallen Student. I can go 3 into nothing else, or I can just play the Poro King. Let's go for the 3. Mostly because this way I set up so that I can memory game or get another Fallen Student from the memory game.
Let's play.
Then I can go for double Fallen Student here. I take 4 or 3. I have the regeneration, let's try it like this. I'm going to play the Poro Stories and drop down the Fallen Student. Try to use our mana in a somewhat efficient manner. Now we can start playing our Grief's Lesson. Can probably do this, drop down a Poro, go Grief's Lesson on the Poro. Right after I play another Fallen Student, of course. We don't really have a lot of spells that target my own units, so I definitely need this. And this just makes my... This actually, thanks to the secret technique, the Grief's Lessons are actually cumulative, because I'll target something with this Grief's Lesson, and the Phantom that gets generated has increased stats, so the next Grief's Lesson I play will actually give even more stats. That's cute. That's a kill synergy piece. Now this Grief's Lesson is going to give 40 attack to something. Do I want to do it? You know what? I think that might actually be enough to kill the opponent.
The
We just play Master E, we fill our board with units that have a massively overpowered Grief's Lesson. Yep. Just 200 damage from hand. Well, I suppose if the opponent had a board, he would have been able to prevent it. Because none of my units actually have Overwhelm, so they can be easily blocked by weaker units. Still, it's an impressive thing to pull off, especially on a champion that doesn't really have that many stars. What would I cut here? Maybe the Celestial Wonder. Yeah, it doesn't target any of my units, so it's just a way to stall the game. But we haven't really needed anything to stall the game out. I'm definitely keeping the Spirit Blossom Mastery because it's just a win con. I guess I'll keep the Petals of Fate too, just for the sake of card draw. Do I go Spirit Aspirant first or Petals of Fate first? Let's go for the Spirit Aspirant first, get the buff on it. I was thinking of whether or not I go for the Petals of Fate first so I can open attack if I 3-drop, but turns out it wasn't necessary. Ghost gives a unit or one of my units a random epic item. Maybe that's the way we win this game. Instead of getting a bunch of buffs on my units from the Grief's Lesson, we just get a bunch of epic items on them instead. Well, they're going to target the Spirit Aspirant mostly. Okay, that's good. Double attack is definitely something we can use to close out the game. We just need to buff this Spirit Aspirant as much as possible. The opponent drawing cards from my deck is not really that great for me though. We might run into the problem where they steal the cards that have very good items on them. That's a whole bunch of rally banners, which are completely unnecessary because they only proc once in a relevant manner. Is this X-Tech Fabricator rigged? Because it's only giving rally banners to the units.
Fast as wind, light as air.
Do we kill the opponent here? Unfortunately no. And I don't think I have a way to do it. So I suppose I'll just take damage. Or take as much damage as I can deal and just pass the turn. We have reached 8 mana, so we can play the Master E. Except now the spells we animate off of Master E aren't actually that great. At least they don't have as much scroll pressure as they previously had, because I've only been playing Ghost, not a spell that actually buffs the stats of my units. So I guess I can't go Master E here. Just do this instead. I would have liked that. Unfortunately, the opponent stole it from me. Better the Spirit Aspirant in just for the rally effect. I think so, because the opponent's going to end up having no board here. So they can't exactly prevent the multiple attacks that are going to come through from happening. Yeah, sure, they develop a Porom, but it's not like that Poro is going to be able to prevent him from taking all of this damage. Yep. And because we blocked one of the units that had a banner, we'd actually been able to rally yet again. Oh yeah, the opponent was very dead there. Hearty rations on the Mighty Poro. I guess, just because it's a card that's already in my deck. Let's see if this Stargazer can give us a decent power. Guile, style on them on the case. I guess this is the one that's the least bad. Chain Vest, Poro Snacks, Undying Legion. It's probably just going to end up reviving one of the ephemeral units, but it's a legendary power. Yeah, let's not pass up the legendary power. Now for another card cut. I want to cut the Plunder Poro. Maybe the Trusty Adneri. Yeah, I'm going to cut the Trusty Adneri. Mostly because I haven't played him a single time this entire run. And we're almost... actually no, we're at the middle point. So if it hasn't been useful up until this point, it probably won't be useful later. Definitely want to cut or toss the Poro Stories and the Poro back. I need the Fallen Student to die. Then we can start printing a bunch of Grief's Lesson. No attacks, really. I'm definitely going to play the Fallen Student here, again. Now the real question is, do I want to play anything else? Because of the way the memory game works, I'll actually get another Fallen Student next turn if I don't play anything here. Let's see what the opponent does. The Pit, Champion, and ally and an enemy strike each other. They can drop low health from this strike, heal an ally, create 3 coins in hand. Let's let him strike an ally. Yeah. Restore some health. You know what? Sure. Let's take the pass. Just so I can get to one additional Fallen Student. This might have been a mistake. Hopefully I won't get punished for it, but I had no way to know that the opponent had the King's Court in hand. And now one of my Fallen Students is going to die. Let's try to draw something good here. That's fine. Oh, right. Undying Legion. That's very important. Now the opponent can't attack properly. Yeah, sure, he attacks with the Jack and the Metal Babs, but I can just do this. And then block with both of the units. And now my next Grief's Lesson is going to give +11, +7 instead of the 5-3 it's currently giving. Which is just going to further improve the Grief's Lessons. Now the next one is going to be 23-15. I did waste the Undying Legion though.
thanks. Good with where I am.
I'm going to pass the turn. I'll get a Fleeting Grief's lesson in hand, which is great. Let's keep those Grief lessons going. Would be nice if the opponent were to kill this Mighty Poro, because that way I would be able to kill him this turn. Really? I guess by doing this the opponent prevents the Mighty Poro from blocking, which is annoying. Without the Mighty Poro dying here, I can't properly close out the game this turn. Maybe I'll draw into something good. Nope. I guess we're doing this instead. In that case, unfortunately, this does stop the Grief's lesson chain we had going. But by this point, it probably won't be necessary, right? With the amount of damage we have on board, we just close out the game anyway. Okay, this game was significantly less impressive in terms of the way it ended. But that's far more in line with what I expected from this run. Maybe those last few games were outliers. Yeah, let's give the Mastery Barrier, just because the other two choices were not that great. Hold it, Explosive Finale, or Raiding Party. Definitely the Hold It. Helps stall out the game so we can get to the Mastery turn faster. And once we do get to the Mastery turn, we just win the game. Most of the time, at least. Yeah, we're keeping Mastery and the Fallen Student. Ooh, we have options here. We can either go Practice Makes Perfect or Grief's Lesson. I think we're going Grief's Lesson.
You're new in the area.
Definitely want to trade. Okay, the opponent doesn't take the bait.
To gain the strength of rivers.
So I suppose we won't keep the Grief's Lesson chain going for
We don't want any
that long. Mostly because we need to develop a board, otherwise we will get overwhelmed by the opponent. We can also just go for the Practice Makes Perfect instead. Take the 4? Yeah, let's take the 4. Just because next turn we can get another Grief's Lesson or another Fallen Student by not playing anything here.
collectors.
And from there, we'll get one last Grief's Lesson before we break the chain. In fact, let's do it like this. We'll buff here. And then we're going to drop down the Prodigy's Shade. Shade? Shade. Just so we can get another Grief's Lesson going. And then we're going to attack with our massive units. Try to keep the opponent's board under control. And now we have another Grief's Lesson here. We're doing this just to get another Grief's Lesson. I could go for the Mastery, but I want to wait. I feel like if I wait, I'll get an even larger Grief's Lesson. Yep. Do I go for this one? Yeah, let's do it. We're going to Grief's Lesson here. Grow it to 56 or 53 each. Force the opponent to block with those two. Now he only has two viable blockers. And the mastery is definitely going to summon a full board of units.
A calm heart. Hope lives in the edge of my blade.
Just like that. Yeah, you can try and block all you want. With 0 mana, there's no way you're surviving that attack. This would only really be possible because of the memory game.
But inferior.
We're getting a lot more casts off of the Grief's Lesson than we normally would. Under Poro, I guess. Just because it's cheap and it's a card that's already in my deck. Excavator's Charge, Crystal Carrier, Face Favor. Let's take the ramp, sure. All of these are pretty bad. Triferian Might. That makes it so my animates just die on summon, which I might not want actually. I could go for the cold resistance, just ramp up a whole bunch, while at the same time drawing two cards. Draw 2 champions, gain 2 empty mana crystals. I don't think it's worth it. Let's just leave. Ooh, we have an epic shop coming up. Leaving was definitely the correct play. Now we're going to get to spend all of our money in an epic shop instead of just a rare one. I need to find spells, either Grief's Lesson or Practice Makes Perfect, and we get neither. So dropping down Mastery is completely pointless.
We don't want any trouble.
I suppose I can go Petals of Fate just to draw. And get something here. I'll take it. Could be worse. At the very least it helps prevent the opponent from attacking. Let's play the Serene Spirit.
We are at the threshold of something great.
And now we can't attack with it.
Turn away.
Well, I guess I'll pass.
Kneel, students. Rise, warriors.
This is definitely a very unlucky hand I got. Without spells, this deck doesn't really work.
Old masks let young eyes see clearly.
Let's drop down the Spirit Aspirant, I suppose. And I have to trade like this. So it's not really satisfying to do so. At the very least, the opponent has run out of resources for the most part. Well, I still have a couple of units in hand. I can actually go Spirit Aspirant, Poro King,
The heart from fear.
and then next turn I'll go for the Poro King's champion spell. At the very least we're going to be able to cast that. Though unfortunately that's going to give us
For each crab I saw today.
Mighty Poros only, I'm pretty sure. Oh right, I guess we have the Plunder Poro in deck as well. And Poro Snacks, but Poro Snacks are not really one of the spells I care about casting. Well, at the very least I'll get 2 Poros snacks off here. Finally a spell. Well, let's attack with all our units. Force the opponent to block.
Kinku, hold fast.
Next turn,
Kinku still rise.
I still can't close out the game. Well, the opponent's out of resources, so I'll just wait for him to pass the turn and then go from there. Keep casting Poros next in the process. Yep. We won the game. Though it was kind of underwhelming. Never mind, we didn't win the game. The opponent found a way to survive.
We've been through a lot.
Maybe I should start playing the... No. I'm going to play the Wonder 4 over that unit. Just because it... I need the empty hand space. And it's currently larger than the Spirit Aspirant.
If you do not have a part to play, take one.
It's fine. Let's do this. Keep generating Poros snacks. There's no way the opponent finds a way to survive the next attack, right? I mean, we have a massive board of Poros. Finally, we got there. But it definitely took way too long. I suppose that's the outcome if we don't draw any spells that target our own units. Ooh, that's good. Fallen student with arcane knowledge. Espresso snacks, current Poro allies everywhere. +1/+1, give to Poro allies. Challenger this round. I wonder if that synergizes with our lesson 2. It's only targeting allies. Okay, mana flow is great. And since we have money, let's take the espresso snacks. It's not a bad card. We are going to cut something here though. Maybe the Serene Spirit? Yeah, I'm not really feeling the impact of the Serene Spirit. I suppose the ramp is nice, but the extra mana... I feel like I have more than enough mana for my spellcast, so the extra mana isn't really going to be necessary. This is a fine hand. The opponent's going to play Sett here. Yep. I can just... Battles of Fate, something to block it. Or he doesn't play anything at all. That's also an option. And now I have something to capture the Sett, so it doesn't even have an impact. Alright. When the post refills mana, they grant their champions +1/+1 for each mana refilled. And then they have the tag out summoning champions. And something else if I'm not mistaken. Well, at the very least we can capture their champions. Let's do Battles of Fate here. Try to keep a chain of Battles of Fate going, I suppose. Draw some cards while giving them an epic item. Now that's just unfortunate. The opponent released one of the units I had captured. I could capture it again though, if I wanted. First of all, let's do the espresso snacks, just so I can see how it works. Okay, it does work. It does animate twice. Interesting. Okay, that's not great. We definitely needed that mastery. Do I go for the Poro King? I feel like the opponent's just going to keep summoning champions if I don't do anything about it. So maybe I should start going for practice makes perfect a bunch of times. Yeah, let's do it. This forces something out of the opponent.
Never gets old.
Okay, we force a block at least.
Careful you don't break a hip in there, old man.
Does this bounce everything? Okay, no, he hasn't spent 16 plus mana this round. So it's just going to bounce the Poro. Which does release a champion, unfortunately. We won't get a Grief's Lesson next turn, or we won't get a Practice Makes Perfect next turn because of that. Well, I guess we're all in on the Poro game plan. Let's just do this. Try to stall out the opponent as much as possible. Want to prevent him from summoning a bunch of champions. That does level up the Trundle. But it's stunned, so it's not like it's that much of a threat. Sure, let's override that with the Mighty Poro. Filling spell mana. Bouncing the Poro King. I'm just going to try and keep my hand as empty as possible, because the opponent keeps bouncing stuff back. And I don't want to burn any more cards. I already burned the mastery. Don't need to burn anything else. Well, let's see if the opponent has anything that prevents him from dying here.
Step into the ring.
Doesn't seem like it. That was not the way I expected the last encounter to go. I figured against the last encounter I'd be able to pull off the thing we have been pulling off the last couple of games, where we just overwhelm the opponent with 100 ephemerals thanks to the Grief's Lesson. That was a bit more challenging than I anticipated, at least for a few of the encounters. Some other ones were just extremely easy. But it's only a 2-star adventure, so I can't really expect that much. So yeah, that will be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Till then.